Greetings everybody, my name is Knight and today I'm going to be making a video. This is a requested from one of my viewers. They asked a couple of questions and it's kind of perfect timing as well because they don't really know this. I didn't state this to them in the comment section. Bits and pieces of their questions that they've asked me, I was going to make a video, so I figured, hey, why not now? I don't have much at this moment to be doing right now, so I was like, let me answer this. So this video is going to be about tarot, spirits, and energy, right? Your energy and the energy from the spirit realm and how it affects tarot and if people are channeling out there, and also like attracting like, not just spiritually as far as us attracting spirits directly or indirectly, but I'm also talking about attraction as far as like actual people. So like me and you, like if you're trying to date somebody, trying to figure out like what's making you draw to that person other than physical things like that. I'm gonna bring that up, bits and pieces of that. So it's all gonna come to play as I explain this video. So pretty much again, tarot, spirits, energy, and attraction in general. Okay. So the first question that this person asked me was they would like to know more about like attracts like. So I'm gonna start off with this. Okay. You as an individual, right? Everybody has their own aura, their own energy, their own how can I say, zodiac sign, all that, right? So, okay, as y'all know, for example, some people might say Pisces attract to certain signs, things in that nature. That's fine, right? But just like how the zodiac signs pretty much draw each other indirectly or directly or repel each other, that's how you are with spirits in the spirit realm and also your parents, your family. And so I'll use me for example, okay? I'm a Scorpio. I'm an Aries sun. I mean, not Aries, man. Aries rising, Scorpio sun, Leo moon, okay? So, but I noticed though I attract a lot of Sagittariuses, right? Now, I don't have Sagittarius in my big three, but then when I look at like my Venus, my Jupiter, a lot of other places, I have a lot of Sagittarius in a lot of other places. So I'm drawing them. I draw a lot of Scorpios, because I have like pretty much all my charts pretty much dominantly Scorpio and Sagittarius. Other than my Aries is being a rising, that's it. I don't have really no air in my chart except my Mars. I think it's air. What is it? My Mars is Aquarius. So, and I very rarely attract them sometimes, but it's just like my zodiac is already attracting people that I knew their zodiac sign or not. But most of them I can tell, it's just natural, right? I draw a lot of people, a lot of energy, a lot of intensity, I should say, and also I draw a lot of people who been through a lot of darkness. And I don't know if you guys, I'm not trying to make you guys nosy, but when people write on my comment section, not just the person who wrote me these questions, but just in general, I noticed a lot of people who write me, even though I have a very, very small channel, they write me in depth details and very, very, very long paragraphs and essays. Maybe because I'm a smaller channel, but it's still a lot. But it's not about how much they write, it's the great details. And I noticed that that's actually a reflection of me. So for me, y'all don't notice, I've had to heal from anxiety, depression, all these things, right? And also I write. And also I go in great details when I explain things to people, whether it be doctors, teachers. You would think I was a professor. If you ever heard me talk to my teacher when I was in school, it sounds like I know everything, even though I don't. And I write in great details. And a lot of times it comes from love, but it kind of seems dark because I've had a lot of negativity in life, a lot of life-threatening situations. I've had people trying to assault me, a lot of things. And the reason I'm saying y'all are a reflection of me, because a lot of things y'all have written to me, believe it or not, even if you're a female, I've been through them. Okay, the only thing I haven't been through that a female has been through is pregnancy. I've been insulted. I've been assaulted. A man tried to, how can I say, push up on me, just like how a woman would be, a sexual assault. Yeah, my roommate when I was in college. So I definitely know, right? I was 19, he was 25. So I've pretty much been to everything. Lost sight, my bodily functions, death, all that. So it's not much I haven't been through it. So when I read you guys' things, I've seen it, and I've been through it. And so y'all don't understand, your energy was drawn to me. Not just because of possibly what I look like, but it's something in my soul that you can feel. And people don't know this, right? Some people do. Whether you see pictures, television, just a photo, you might just indirectly be drawn to these photos and you don't know why. Photos, pictures have energy. This phone has energy. Not just that, your phone has crystals in it, and it has a screen. It's black, and even though it's playing with I'm in full color, I'm drawing you in. You're drawing to me, and also all my guys around me, whether y'all can see them or not, y'all guys are already knowing that this is going to happen. This is already divinely orchestrated. Of course, you don't have to watch every video I make or anything you watch, but they know this. It's not like I sit here and say, hey, I want everybody to watch me. No, it's not how it works. I mean, yes, I have the free will to ask my guys and the God source, hey, pretty much can they allow this to happen? But even with me stating that, it's not a guarantee it's going to happen now. And that's how you guys are. You can ask and pray as much as you want. And yes, the message will come in just like how you hear this bell ringing. But it's like a certain time where things are supposed to happen. So just to answer your question, when it comes to like attracting like, yes, a lot of times, whether you're trying to forcefully as a man or woman hope to date a certain person that you have that preference for, or you're trying to go after a certain job, you're going to attract it naturally. But it actually helps more the more positive you are in your thinking as far as like how fast that manifestation happens. But even if you were a person not to do anything at all, believe it or not, your energy, your aura is going to draw things to you. You could be a homebody every day, and then you might go out once a week to like Chipotle or Starbucks, and then there'll be that one moment that if the spirits want you to, you'll meet somebody. You could have been a loner your whole 5-10 years of your life, and it's time for this to happen. This makes sense? Same thing too though. Like, it's just how it is. It's like attracts like. That's all it is. And so I had to use myself in this because it's bigger than just us using our free will to get what we want, or thinking because you might be a beautiful woman or you might be a handsome guy that this is why they're drawn to you. Yes, that's part of it, but a lot of it was already predestined. You're just like the actor playing the play, walking into it. Seriously. They do give us signs as far as like if somebody's bad. So even if you think you like somebody, you think they're right for you, and they're deceiving, you're either going to see them actually cheat, or intuitively you might feel it in your energy that, hey, I need to leave this person alone. And that's when your guys are going to let them go. And even again, even if you are in connections that are not the best, right, you still attracted them, but it wasn't supposed to be permanently. It was supposed to be just there for a lesson for you to learn. So you might have been in a relationship with somebody for 6 months, you attracted them, and then you get mad like, oh, they're a karmic and all that. Okay, possibly, but you were still supposed to have that happen to you because in that time frame, you were in a certain energy that wasn't the best, and you needed to learn the lesson. And this is why I try to tell people, not even just on my channel, just in general, don't beat yourself up too much and be like, oh, I'm never going to get love, because that's what the negative energy, the spirits around you wants you to do. Because what you don't know is in your past life, you might have turned down a lot of love opportunities, or you might have met a lot of negative people just like you are now, doing the same thing. So you're drawing them in. You're drawing actually past soulmates again. And even if they're not people from the past, from like your past lives, you're drawing people with similar energies that are brand new with that same thing. And your soul already knows, and it's trying to tell you that, hey, are you going to be aware that I need to change this habit, change my thought process? And even if you are a positive person, a lot of times it's not even just about your aura attracting it. Sometimes your spirits around you, even though they're angels and all that, they're going to allow certain negative people to come towards you to see if you're going to pass your test, this lesson you got to go through. So even if you feel like you don't deserve this, it's going to happen. You know, it doesn't mean they want you to be like assaulted or hurt, right? But a lot of times, I mean, not going to say everybody, but sometimes they show you the signs, and sometimes, you know, it might be a slip up, you don't see it, okay? And you have to work through that. Sadly to say, we live in an imperfect world. I always tell people we live in a world like this. This is how I look at the world. We live in a perfect imperfection. This makes sense? You know, like if I cut my face out in half, it's not really symmetrical. Everybody's face is not symmetrical. The earth sits on an axis, but somehow it's still creating everything in a beautiful way, right? Everything has its purposes. Everything has its animals, and everything the animals have its purpose, and humans have its purpose. No matter how negative or positive, they all bring some type of balance. And from our perspective, as much as we want peace in this world, everything's orchestrated in a divine way, in a perfect way, but how we view it, it seems messed up. And that's why, because I know we live in an imperfect world, but still somehow beautiful, I call it the imperfect perfection. Because it's just another way of looking at perfect, because, you know, we always have to have a yin and yang. Nothing's going to be, you know, symmetrical here, okay? And so again, it's still attracted each other. Like all these energies I'm speaking about is still about attraction. Like attracts like. Okay. So that's again. So with that being said, knowing that we live in an imperfect perfection of environment of creation, you definitely. This is why we keep talking about try to think positive. Be positive when you speak. Okay. Of course, there's nothing wrong. I will say this too. With all this positive talk, there's nothing wrong with expressing if you feel disrespected, as long as in a respectful way. If you feel like you gotta say something, say something. If you're angry, let it out, because even with anger and all this irritation and frustration, that is not good for you. It's gonna hurt you. Also, overthinking stuff like that, that builds anxiety. So pretty much how I look at this: you thinking too much forward in the future, it brings anxiety and makes you anxious. You keep thinking about the past, it makes you depressed and sit and stagnant and sluggish, right? You gotta learn to be content in the present moment. Because if you don't, you might end up attracting anxious people. So when you're about to be in a state of calmness, but you're still healing, but you got a little bit of anxiety in you, you might attract a woman or a man that's similar to that energy, and now you're restless in this because they're reminding of you. And so then you want to call them karmic. So yes, again, that's how I look at like attracts alike. I'm probably going to go back into that a little bit more if I come to more thoughts about that. I have a lot of questions here, and I want to make this video too long, but yeah, like attracts like that. That's how humans are. Now with the spirit world, with attraction, with likes attracts like. Okay, you have certain designated guardian angels with you. Not just angels too though. You have ancestors. A lot of ancestors. So I'll give you an example. What I've seen through my third eye and round, some people might have one or two ancestors. Not like you always sitting around with all of them. It doesn't mean that they all can't visit at certain times. Some of them, depending on when they pass, they could be in another body right now. They could be in heavenly state. They can be in a darker state. Everybody's different, so don't expect your whole family to just be there. Okay, so because I know some people have like one or two ancestors. Most people have at least two angels. And then everybody from what I've seen has like one dark spirit around them. Whether you want to call it a fallen angel or whatever, and they're there just to tempt you and put you through your test. It doesn't mean that you won't elevate in life. They're just there. I don't know why. A lot of people, other spiritual people, don't really want to talk about this. A lot of times, some of these spirits are so powerful they can hide themselves. I will say this: if you get too dark in your energy, whether anxiety, worries, or even into like doing malevolent work, and again, this is nothing against magic, but if you do it in an evil way, you might end up drawing a lot of evil spirits. And then what will happen is you still have your angel, but what happened is when you're a kid, right, your angels are like right here. Like they're really like not even between 4 to 6 feet away from you, if not closer. But when you go to school, you start getting affected by your environment, the children. You start taking on some of their traits. They might be bad at the mouth, cussing. You're picking up traits. So even if your parents are good, you're picking up traits. And then if your dad or your mom was negative, you're picking up their traits, you're sucking it in. And as a kid, you don't really know. Now, your guides, they try to protect you as much as possible, especially when you're younger than 7. Then it seems like when you hit about 9 or 10, especially when you hit 12, right, you might end up getting worse people around you in your environment in high school, depending on your environment too. If you live in a negative ghetto area that's not the best of hearted people, yeah, and you can get these negative ghetto kind of people in the suburbs. It really depends, or evil people. So I will tell you guys, be mindful who you associate with, because what happened was when you let these people in, whether you meant to or not, it puts distance between you and your guardian angel. So what happens is when the more negative people around you, it kind of taints your aura, dims your light a little bit, even if you're a good person. And then what happens is you'll start drawing negative people, and then also negative spirits will try to attach to you, and there's nothing you really can do. Only change the people that's around you. Try to distance yourself until you're able to move out of that environment. And this is how some people, from what I've seen, get hurt. Like they might start getting robbed, negative incidences. People try to, how can I say, rob them, assault them, maybe even unalive them, because now your energy's drawing darker spirits in, okay? And then your angels, doesn't mean your angels won't protect you, but they might take them. I'll give you an example. When you're a kid, they might save you in like 5 seconds. But because you done went through all that turmoil, and then and in your mind, you're kind of allowing these people to come to you, or you want to talk to the cool guys, they're not that good. They, instead of them coming in 5 or 10 seconds, they might wait like 5 minutes to come save you to see what you're gonna do. Yeah, and if you don't make the right moves, depending on your life path, you might pass on early, or you might just get hurt, go to the hospital, and then still live a long life of 90, 100 years old, depending on if you change your ways. And yeah, because they can only do so much. That's why they're called guides. They can protect you. They can perform miracles if it's meant for you to happen. And that's how your like attracts to like. It's your energy, what you invite. Same thing with the magical world. So you might be a person who's never been in a negative environment, never been in a ghetto type of environment. You live in the suburbs your whole life, but then you decide to do like, and again, I'm not talking bad on magic, but it's more about what you do with it. So like if you decide to do like evil, that's like really evil work. Like evil work. And when I mean evil work, I'm not talking about like speaking to demons, man. I'm talking about like evil work when, you know, you trying to like take somebody's life with the magic. You know what I'm saying? I'm talking about you talking some dark stuff, like dark stuff. You really on it. And so when you do that too much, your angels will be there again, but then you'll have more malevolent spirits. And if you out here sending spirits to take people's lives, are you getting paid to do spells to take people's lives? When it's time for you to go, you might not even experience nothing in this life bad because you're protected for the time being. But what happens is that energy that you attracted, you're gonna end up with them. So, like if you feel like these spirits around you are from a hellish state, even if whether you believe in a hellish state or not, that's where you're going. You're gonna go to like a darker space. And I don't really want to call it hell, it's just more like where they're at. That's it. And so you most likely when you go, you probably won't be seeing like all your ancestors and stuff, because then you have to go through a purge in the afterlife. You have to purge and do a lot of forgiving and asking to let you out of that state. So because you left here with that vibration of darkness, you know, and I don't mean darkness in a bad way. I'm talking about in that evil way that you left it. Okay. Same thing if somebody was gang banging, if you do this your whole life and then you pass on like that, it doesn't mean you can't go to a pure state. But what happens is you'll be in another state of life in the afterlife with similar people, whether they were former gangbangers, criminals, all that, and that's what you're gonna see in your vibration. And also, everybody, no matter what you did, from what I've seen, you go through a life review. They're gonna show you everything you did and how you could have changed and who you hurt. And not only that, they're not even gonna let you just feel your pain. They're gonna make you feel the pain of the people you hurt. So it's gonna be double. It's like that's the torture, right? And so a lot of times you might be able to become a spirit guide to help others to work off your deeds, or you might have to do other things in the afterlife. And also when we pass, it doesn't mean you're going to go to another life immediately after you die. It's like if you pass, doesn't mean you're going to go into another body a year later. It could be like almost 200 years later, if not longer, 500 years, it's whatever, or 1,000. It really depends. And I can speak on this for facts because God bless him, my grandfather, he passed away in 2018. And I saw him 2 years later when COVID happened. And he came to my home and he came on his knees, asked me for forgiveness. And first day he did it, I ignored it. Wasn't sure what to do. It was startling because he was a missionary, church guy. Then he came the second time and the angel told me don't. They told me don't forgive him, don't do it right now. And then the third time he came with his knees, and there was an angel standing over him. And I said, I forgive you. And then he disappeared. And I realized he was going through a life review. The spirit over him was putting him through that. And it seemed really bad. He was in his suit and everything like he was. He's a missionary guy, a good missionary. He helped a lot of people, but when he was younger, he wasn't the best. And when he kept asking for an apology, I didn't know what he did to me. But when I realized, I feel like when we were growing up, he didn't accept me and my mother as his true children because that was my mom's stepfather. And so, long story short, I'm just showing you that this is real. And I didn't ask him to come. They brought him to me. And to this day, just to let y'all know, I don't really see a lot of family members see me. I've only seen him go through that. And then my uncle, who passed away at a younger age, he came to me, but he only came to me to inspire me for like about a month or so. And he went back to like another heavenly state. But it was interesting because my uncle never was any missionary. He's a regular guy. But my grandfather, who was heavily Christian, he had to go through that. So it just showed me the religion it didn't save nothing. I mean, it did, but he still had to go through his review. And I feel like they wanted me to see that. That's why I speak like, be careful how you do people. You know, you don't know what they're going to do to you after this. So, and that's a way that like attracts like, from spirits. And if you are trying to work with deities, from what I've seen, you have a contract here. So, if you're trying to be a teacher, it was pretty much set in stone you're gonna be a teacher, especially if you knew you want to be one as a child. most likely it was already set in stone before you came here. You're just playing a role. So same thing right now. If you're watching tarot, whether you decide to do tarot or not, it was already embedded in you that this is going to happen. It's just up to you if you're going to continue to watch tarot or do it. It was already going to happen. That's how deities are. So like, you might petition or try to invoke a deity. They already know that you're going to call them, because before you came into your mother's womb and your spirit even became that baby, it was already signed and said that this is going to happen. Whether you're going to talk to a negative, like a more darker deity or a light deity, it doesn't matter. It was going to already be there. You know, you could have been a person that didn't work with deities until you're like 40. It was going to happen anyway. It doesn't mean you got to be with them forever. That's what it's about. And this is something I wish that a lot of people in religion would notice. Like, the state of the world, whether they want to believe in the end times or not, it was already going to happen. And they even know it themselves. And also the angels, they still don't know the complete days of everything. It's still kind of hidden, but they do know way more than us. They know like 95% of everything is going to happen, except 5%. I just feel like it's not always known. From what I've seen, and also spirits, angels, all that, they can transform into any spirit that they want to be in. Again, they come to you how they feel. So I'll give you an example. For what I've seen, right, I'm gonna use Hecate, right? When she came to me, she came in her crone state, and I didn't ask for her to come. She just came. My whole window turned blue. I was laying in my bed, and she came here. I was sleeping, and when I woke up, I saw like a black silhouette of a woman. It was just a black shadow, and then she moved, and I just saw long black hair, and she turned and she smiled. And she made her body show, and all my whole room looked like the blue moon. Like this whole room turned blue. This was like literally last summer, and she came in here. And then she spoke to me. She was in this room by at least 5 minutes, if not longer. And then the reason, and I know and that was her. And then I remember I was walking one day and go to see my friend who's a medium, and I didn't even tell her that Hecate was around me. And my friend, she's like, you know, there's a woman around you that's taking care of you, trying to watch over you. I was like, what are you talking about? And I was trying to play dumb. And she's like, yeah. And I said, I know there's a woman around me. It's a Mediterranean looking woman around me. She's like, yeah. She said she's Greek. Yeah, I said, I know she's Greek. And I said, that's Hecate. And that was her. Boom. But it's because my energy drew her, because again, so let me explain how that worked. I'm a person who's balanced in my dark and light. Okay. And so how I look at Hecate, she can be more dark, or she can be more light. It really depends on your energy. So like, if some people are scared of her and say she's crazy and all this stuff, that's probably because it's something in you that, how can I say, triggered that to happen to you. You know what I'm saying? Same thing with Lilith. Lilith came to me as well. And so a lot of people might say, oh, she's in like men, she's trying to seduce you. Well, this energy been around for years, and I haven't had no sexual wet dreams at all. You know, now we can all say, all right, because something can happen between the afterlife. Yeah, but as a human form, no. You know, and again, it's because of my energy, though. I hope this really makes sense. It's the energy you carry. I'll use something else off the topic of deities. Bridge, before I even say about this other part, I'm going to go back. I got to run back to the deities. Bridget. All right, the Irish goddess Bridget. She was the first deity or saint or whatever you want to speak on it that came to me naturally. I remember I went to go to this church, you know, out there in Ireland, and I felt this energy. It was Bridget. And ever since I've been in this home, since I've been traveling around the world, she definitely all around. And so that's because my heart, it's like something in my heart resonates with her heart, and which makes her draw to me. Every spirit don't draw to me. I'll give you an example, right? I have black in me, right? So I give you an example. I go visit one of my friends. They're into like African gods and goddesses. I'm not. And so when I went over there, they didn't draw to me. They didn't appeal to me, right? There was a time when I was coming out of Christianity that I was like, well, maybe I should do something with like African stuff, and it didn't work. It didn't really play out well, because like I guess I didn't draw them. I don't know if because my bloodlines mixed. They didn't know. Nothing. The only thing that drew to me was the Mediterranean deities and Mesopotamian deities, naturally, without me even doing nothing, like even Asherah. And that's also because of my past lives. I was different cultures. I had times where I was Canaanite. I had times where I was Indian, from like India. So it's like you can see it. Like I've had visions of Lakshmi, Reshmi. I have all this stuff, and that's why I'm saying it's like my soul carries that, and I feel like that's the same for y'all. I want to keep talking about myself, and that's how like attracts like. So when we talk about deities, they already know, guys. They already know. So like you can be a Christian all day, you can be a Catholic all day, and you be wondering why you're haunted, why you keep seeing negative spirits. You don't know. You could have been doing like black magic or some crazy stuff in a past life, and it's you or your family done it, and you don't know. Your mama don't do it, you don't do it, but maybe your great grandmother did it. You know, you have to think bigger. That's what attracts these deities to you. So now I'm gonna switch off that, right? When we looking at what was the other card he was talking about? So I just talked about entities. I talked about the like attract like. All right, so the energy. Now, if you want to know if spirits feed off you, because that was his question, do they feed off you? They can. So, so this is how I look at it. From my perspective, it really depends on, it's like your perspective. So this is how I look at it. More of the malevolent spirits, which I would feel is darker, even the light ones too, they can drain, especially the ones that are lower vibration, that really need like food, meat, stuff like that. They'll drain you. Definitely they'll drain you. And what I mean by that is like you'll start feeling sleepy or tired. So I give you an example. And not just deities, spirits, people's ancestors. So all right, y'all don't know this, right? I work for a site called Everclear, right? So and also my home, I do some things here in the local area. I'm a medium. So a lot of people's relatives who passed on, they'll want to talk to me. So most of the time, they'll stand outside of me and they'll try to speak. A lot of times they talk to me telepathically. They'll throw their voice in my head or something like that. And sometimes in my ear, but most of the time it's through my mind, and they'll speak. Now, sometimes they actually come through my body if I allow it. But most of the time I don't really like the actual spirits themselves, like the human spirits do that. I only that like the angelic ones. And even with the angelics doing that, they're so strong and so so high vibration, they very draining. So a lot of times they always tell me to drink water, have water within me, because it just helps the energy flow easily. And so, because I notice whenever, if I have to do this all day, mediumship, I'm more sleepier. It's almost like I worked out. So again, spirits do drain you, and it doesn't matter if they're dark or light, they will drain you. Especially if you're a medium. Also with doing tarot, even if you're not a medium, but you decide to allow a spirit to come around, especially come within your area, your energy, they can drain you. Yes, they definitely can drain you. Because I know for me, I have boundaries up, but sometimes I've had time I have 5 different spirits. And so it's one thing, a lot of times they talk outside. Like when I do channel, most time again it's from the like a higher octave, and they come through me. You can definitely feel it, because I don't know if y'all notice, right? Like right now, my voice sounds normal. Yes, it's a little bit deeper, but if y'all notice when I do my readings, it sounds similar, but sometimes it might be a little lighter, a little off, because it's feminine energy coming through. So it might be a woman, and my voice will lighten up a little bit. It'll still sound like me, but you're gonna hear the octave change a little, right? So that's them coming in. But again, just to answer the question, they can drain you. But I will tell anybody working with like really dark, like I don't want to say dark, but like more evil, like spirits that we would define as evil. I don't want to just throw evil and how can I say? I don't want to throw out comments about evil and good, because everybody has their perspective, and I don't feel like having disputes in the comment section about what people think that is. I'm just gonna say energies that will seem low vibrational, especially if you're trying to like conjure things, to do things, they can drain you heavily. And so also when you give an offerings, they're sucking up the essence of whatever you put out, and they'll do that with you. Yeah. So like when you see people getting hit up with certain demons attached to them, they can't get them off, or even certain spirits. People understand it's not just demons that can stick to you, humans too though. So like, example, if you go to the bar, right? You start drinking, alcohol, spirit. So you keep drinking and drinking. If you get overly intoxicated, spirits can come through you. And also if you're in this bar, for example, say you don't notice, say if a soul died on that property, or an alcoholic died in that room, and this soul decides that when it died, instead of going to a heavenly state or a darker state, whatever, it just stays in that room. Like how you see ghosts that are stuck in houses, you have spirits that are stuck in bars. So when you're drinking, this spirit is feeding off your energy. So now you have an attachment. It's not like a demon. You have a human that wants to get the thrill, and it's hoping that you keep drinking alcohol. So now you think your thoughts is telling you to drink more alcohol. No, these spirits that you have. So now this spirit's going home with you now, because it can leave the bar, because now you have alcohol. and you drinking more, and so now it's gonna feed off your addiction. It's also most likely gonna make you more motivated to drink. See how that works? Same thing with drugs. But yeah, this is truth, man. Same in the graveyard. I will tell anybody. I'm not trying to tell y'all to do this, but the graveyard, if you bring your children to the graveyard, make sure you pray over them, protect them, because there's spirits all over the graveyards, bro. There's some spirits always fighting. They look at that. It's like because like something about the youth has very vibrant energy. It's like they feed off of it. It's very interesting. And again, I gotta keep telling y'all, it's not just demons down here. Certain humans have certain energies that are so strong because you don't know what they did, and they'll draw to you. You know, I've seen like there's certain negative spirits or people who want to do negativity and magic, and they'll like knock. I'm not gonna tell y'all to do this, but they'll knock on a tombstone and get the soul of somebody to come out. Like a lot of people, they want somebody like knocked off their feet and not here no more. They'll get like a soldier that was a real good soldier, and they'll knock on it, get the graveyard dirt, and see if they can control that person. So I would tell anybody, don't just always tell people about who passed away in your home if you don't know who you're talking to, because they might go to your gravesite trying to mess around with it. It's a lot of stuff, man, and they can attract it. I'm telling you right now, because they might have certain deities, spirits, they can bring them up out the grave. I'm telling you, it's a lot, and this is not a joke. It's not a joke. It's a serious. All right, so that's one thing. So again, they definitely can feed off you. Now the trigger, because I think he asked, do they trigger it? So when you're talking about spirits, from what I'm feeling off your question here, you can trigger spirits in a good way or a bad way. It depends on you. So if you're up here trying to be negative and yelling at the spirit, yeah, they'll get triggered. They can do something. So you have your guardian angels, but say if your guardian angels know you're talking to a spirit that you shouldn't be talking to like that, they're gonna allow that spirit to come at you. Yeah, definitely. Make possession, hidden, throwing stuff in your house if they're that powerful. Yes, give you a nightmare. Yes, doesn't mean it's gonna be forever, but they can. They also can trigger them in a good way. So your heart might draw a very kind angel. You're not gonna necessarily know the name, and that angel might know that you have a cold, so you're taking medicine. A cold's not really a big deal, and they can easily heal that. So normally, say the cold takes you 3 days, you might wake up one day and that cold's gone in a day and a half. You drew a positive spirit, and you triggered it to be more kinder to you, whether an angel or anything. Also, random spirits. There's random spirits that are earthbound and they help you. Some indigenous spirits, I know here where I live at, I've seen them that help you. Not that I even call them, so they'll just want to help you. Like, it can be for a moment, Like, there's certain energies are stuck to the home, like the Native Americans, like they want to be on the earth and they want to protect and they want to just like nature watchers, earth watchers. So yes, you can trigger them in a good or a bad way. All right, now on tarot cards, he asked, how do the tarot cards work? So, all right, on the tarot cards, right, in general, so say if you don't even know, you don't talk to any deities, anything like that. I'm just going to use this. I know if y'all notice, I keep using like Christian stuff like that. I'm using this out there because I'm not here to talk down on anybody religion, but I only throw it out there because it's me coming from a Christian background to let anybody know that it doesn't mean you're gonna be completely protected from everything. I think it's hard for people to swallow in religion, in all religions, that that don't mean you can't get touched. That's pretty much what I'm trying to say. It doesn't matter, like, if you watch stuff like what I'm talking about now, like that, you can just be going to Walmart and anything can happen to you. Like, a spirit can come to you at the right moment because you're feeling depressed. And now you have a spirit attachment that's trying to make you depressed. And you can go to church all day. But what you got to understand, the God source is going to still want to see how you react. Are you going to meet the God halfway? You always got to meet the God source halfway. So you have to do the work. Like, you can pray and pray and pray, but you have to have faith. Because that's something I noticed in the spirit world. They don't like people with faith. The negative spirits don't like people who don't have, they don't like people who have strong faith. All right, so again, with tarot card work. All right, so when you have a tarot card, right, it really depends. So if you're just using the normal rider weight tarot, let me get this out. If you're just using the normal rider weight tarot, okay, all right, this is how it works. They have pictures and symbols. Most people just have their angels, maybe 1 or 2 ancestors, and that's it for the most part. And that one negative spirit I told you, right, is trying to tempt you to do something negative. Now, when you're doing your tarot, this is when it comes that you need to pray for site protection. So if you believe in Christ, if you want to do that, yeah. You believe in the Holy Spirit, yeah. If you believe in a deity, go ahead and do that. Whatever you believe in. Or if you don't believe in nothing, and you just want to say, oh, I believe in the omnipresent force in my higher self. If that's what you think, that's what's coming through. right? Now, when you're doing all, when you call that in, you need to cleanse your energy, whether people do it or not. And even if you don't decide to clean your energy at all, and you just walk in your house and you just grab the cards, just crack them open, stuff's still gonna come. So whether you are protecting anything, making yourself protected, you're protected, but only to a certain extent. So when you do the cards, right, again, with the Rider's Waite, that has, to me, has been amplified in energy. So again, let me explain. The spirit world knows what the Rider-Waite tarot cards are. These cards were here before me or you were born. They've seen many psychics use these cards. So in a way, they're kind of blessed, but they also can hurt you, right? Depending on your family lineage, if your family is cursed, negative, your culture, also your mindset. So again, I would always suggest make sure you're in a positive mindset. And again, whatever card flips out is meant for you. So if you ask them a certain question, they're going to give it to you. And depending on your house, the environment, the culture, the country, that's what Spirit's going to draw to you when you flip those tarot cards. And they, most of the time, they always know who's going to be watching the videos. And even if you're not one who posts these videos and you're just in your home doing this, they already know what question you're going to ask before you ask it. Okay? And they're going to give it to you. And again, it really depends on the environment. So I'll give you an example. You can do readings in your house, but then you'll go do it like at the park, and you're going to get a little bit different experience because now you're out in nature. You might have nature spirits, whether you believe in fairies, things like that, trying to speak to you, anything. You might even get low vibrational spirits or high vibration, depending on the environment. That's what's going to make or break the tarot card. Also, the symbolism on the card that's on there. If you got the tarot card, a lot of anything can come out of that. But if you got something like the Empress, you might get a lot of feminine energy, or you might have a masculine come to your feminine energy. It just, everything is really unique and subjective to you, depending on your situation. Now, say if you have a tarot cards with like deities on it, if you keep doing this for long enough, yes, you probably most likely will get a deity that will come to you. Especially if it's not like a made up one, like a legit one that's been around for like centuries. Yes, it'll come. Your guides will draw it to you. Like, meaning sometimes, like, how can I say, it was already known that you're going to come in contact, and so your guides will allow or call out, communicate with that deity. Hey, they're reaching out to you, and they'll come. Because your guides and angels like messengers. Because some of these deities are God forms. They don't just stick in one area. They're a lot. They're everywhere. And they can also be omnipresent. People don't understand deities can be omnipresent. So because they're like another form of, or I should say an aspect of the god or goddess, they can split. And they also can shift and shape however they want to look like. It's not always necessarily to like manipulate you to do something bad. It's that they come to you in a way that's comfortable for you. Because a lot of times if they want something for you, they're not going to come at you all the time looking crazy unless they need to. So like, for example, again, when I saw Hecate, it was very serious. It was very striking, very intense. Now, from my perspective, because I've seen a lot of ghosts and a lot of crazy stuff way before her, I've seen spirits with their heads cut off. So to me to see her, no disrespect to her, it wasn't scary. It wasn't like, it was nothing. It was just like seeing a regular woman who was just extra pale, like more palish blue color, and she was okay looking to me. You know, she looked like a older woman that I would probably talk to. Like, it wasn't nothing to me. Now, if my mom or my sister would have saw her, oh my God, they probably would have got scared and around the house. You know what I'm saying? It doesn't mean I have not gotten scared, but from her. Same thing with Lilith. She didn't look like what I thought she was gonna look like. Like from what people say, oh, she looks crazy and horns all over the daggone place. Yeah, she could have came like that, but she didn't. She had a dress on. She came really respectful. Now, when I saw Ishtar, I saw her pretty much naked. Okay, nude. Just like how she went down to Ereshkigal, she was pretty much nude. You know, everybody wanted to come to me differently, right? When I see angels like Archangel Michael, he pretty much comes how people make him out to be, right? It's just, again, depends on what you are, your energy. I'm telling you right now, it really depends on what you're carrying. And again, back on tarot though, if I get off subject, again, if you're working with deity cards with deities on it, you can use them to draw the spirit. You can put, if you have an altar, you can put the card up. So if you don't have a statue, you can use the card, and it's almost like a petition. They'll draw to you very quickly. Definitely, they'll come like quickly, but it depends on you though. If you kind of scared though, I've noticed that they probably won't. They'll slow it down because again, I'm noticing a misconception whether people are working with darker spirits or dark goddesses or light goddesses or dark gods, whatever. That just because they're dark, they're gonna come at you crazy. If they want to gain your favor and all that, they're not stupid. Like, you gotta understand, we're talking to stuff that's like way smart and way higher than us. As far as like how we think, and so they kind of know if we're scared, so like they're gonna slowly trickle in unless they don't care. Like, you do have some spirits that are very chaotic and they don't really care, you know. Like, I remember when I saw the raw energy, he's very direct, very quick, very talkative, very mathematical. He talks in symbols and signs. He doesn't talk like normal. He talks through like sacred geometry. When I encountered him. Again, a lot of this is from past life, though. It's not like I want this to happen. I'll give you an example. That happened all in America. Now, I'll give you an example. When I was in Japan, I heard Japanese spirits. Like, I was in my house, and I live in a brand new apartment, and Japanese spirits were talking to me in Japanese, and I speak a little bit of Japanese, but I didn't understand everything. And I saw, like, a samurai. So it's like, it was very interesting. I was living in Sasebo, Japan. Saesbo, Japan. And so I was like, wow. And so it depends location. I give you an example. I remember one time I was mentoring a client. He was from India. He lived in India to this day, and he wanted me to mentor him. And I noticed the more I started interacting with him and helping him out, not just spiritually, but even with homework, I was helping him. We got so close, we almost became like brothers. And I noticed I started having visions of like Indian people and his family members, and I actually saw his angels with me in my mind, and they were thanking me for helping him, and then all that. So. And that's how like attracts like again, because we already clicked, and now his guys like me, my guys like him, and so like we're talking, and his guys are talking to my guys. We're like a big family, and that's how you date. If a relationship separates for a reason, your guys knew this. They're talking to your guys. We don't want you talking to him, and this and that third. That's how it goes. Just like I have my pastor, and God bless him, my one of my best friends in the Navy passed away in Afghanistan. He got shot and got his head cut off. Right. He's been coming to visit me for almost like since like what 2010? Oh no, 2011 I should say. Yeah, all the time. And he's Caucasian. He has 2 daughters. He passed away at 23. I'm 39 now. And so in my mind, I used to think like, why is he coming to me? I hope this don't sound like colorism or some type of racism here, but like, he's Caucasian. Like, why would he come to me? He has a whole family and all that. And even though we're close friends, he came to me, and he always helped me. He always tell me, hey, don't eat this. He's always watching out for me, and I appreciate him. And so he drew to me though. And what's wild about that, even though I'm saying he's my best friend, I only knew him for like barely a year and a half or 2 years, but I felt so close to him. And you see how that worked? But then I've had people I've known for almost 8 or 10 years, if not longer, who passed away. They don't come to me like that. And they've been mixed like me. Some of them are black and Spanish. They don't come to me like that. And that's like attracts like a heart. And I feel like also a past life. And that's how I look at that. Now, when it comes to tarot again, I kind of say be open-minded, because, you know, it's going to be different for everybody how they interact with their cards. If you decide to bless your home or bless the cards or whatever you're doing before you work in your environment. But I always tell people, be cautious where you're at when you do your tarot. Even if you don't do tarot and all that. And also, this is why I brought this up. So I got this from the Dollar Tree, right? This is technically the dollar store. I got these are playing cards, right? Playing cards. Now, because I have the Rider-Waite deck memorized in my head, so I give you an example, right? For me, King of Spades would be like swords, okay? Diamonds is like pentacles. Think about diamonds, materialistic, so it's money already, right? And this would be like the 6 of pentacles, okay? The 2 of hearts, or the, I should say, yeah, 10 of hearts in here is like the cups. Hearts, like, think about hearts is your emotions, right? 10 of cups, okay? And then spades would be like wands. So if I say 10 of wands, a lot of burdens. So as soon as I say that, and then look, new beginnings, aces, like ace of swords would be like victory, right? So I'm bringing this up is, right, the spirits already know before I even said this what I was going to say. Now, because I know the Rider-Waite, and I decided to use these little playing cards here that have nothing to do with tarot, we can just gamble off these, but now I'm going to use them for divination. They know this, and they're going to channel through me. And so the good thing about playing cards, it's way more intuitive energy going through this, because I don't really have symbols or pictures to go through. And to me, I feel like this is going to be a little bit more accurate, because now it's just off me. I'm going with the flow. I'm not going off because somebody has a picture on something. I'm going off straight to the point of what I'm feeling that needs to be told to you. And if I decide to take my pen and write stuff on here, then so be it, and that's what's gonna be meant for you, right? And so that's how it works. It's like I drew that in, but they already knew, right? Same thing if you have an altar. If you have an altar, it's no different than the church altar. It's no different when they have incense in the church. You're just doing it in your house. You're pretty much making your home the church, right? And so whatever you want to make your home, the decor, the decorations, the vibes, all that, the feng shui, that's you. That's your essence. So I would tell anybody, if you have a home, and if you're a guy and you don't like decorating anything, try to do something. That way it lives it up and it makes the energy vibe. So don't make it, I would tell anybody, don't make it too masculine, but don't make it too feminine. You want it balanced, because you might have all this anger and anxious energy in your home. And same thing with the feminine energy. So I would always try to balance it out. Like if you go in my living room where I'm at, I got like flowers all up in there. I have like a lot of vase with big flowers, and I got roses behind this camera. My whole home where I live at is roses all around, and I even have roses on my arm. Like I love roses. Like growing up, even my grandfather, they used to plant plants. So I noticed just me stating that too with the plants and flowers, I draw women naturally to me who are into flowers and also into writing, and I like to write. See how that, and the thing, but I don't know that though. When I meet them, I don't know that. Like, there's times I went to the store just randomly to go get some food, and I don't ever talk to no women really in the store. I'm minding my business. But the few times that I've had, the 1 or 2 times that I had, I randomly approached a girl, and I don't know anything about them. I just asked her name. I ended up finding out 2 or 3 days later that, man, they're into writing. They're into growing plants, and then a lot of the times they end up being Sagittarius or some type of fire sign or earth sign, and then we vibing, or water sign, whatever, you know. And it makes sense, but I didn't know that. It's like my soul already knew before I even came up to them, you know. So that's why I say that some things are just planned out way ahead of time, and we don't know it, you know. And so that's another form how I looked at tarot and like attracts like. And then I don't know if I answered this, but again, I think you asked, do spirits know who's going to see the videos? Yes, they do. They really do. Like, how I look at it is like your guides that are around you already know. It's mainly how I look at it is like this. My spirits know exactly pretty much how many people are going to see this video and how many people they want. So I give you an example. Me. Y'all don't know this. I was a very shy guy growing up. And even as an adult, I was very shy. I don't, from my personal perspective, I don't really feel like I broke out of my shy phase until I was like 27 or 29. I want to say almost 29. And so it was a lot of work. And then even when I started doing stuff like this, because my old videos, my other channel, there was a lot of stuff went with that. I had to get rid of it. To me, I didn't really get comfortable with camera, to me, until I was 34, right? But even then, my guides were not going to let me be seen. So, because I remember one time when I started my channel, it was taking a long time. And it was only because, other than me not being meant for everybody, I wasn't shown as confident. Now I'm being more confident, so now I'm drawing a little bit more people. So it's like, now it's time for me to be seen. This makes sense. And that's how like attracts like. Because what it was is, even though I was good at doing tarot and doing mediumship, they felt like I could present myself better on TV later on in life, which is now. This makes sense. So when we're talking about, do the spirits know? Yes, but they also kind of like, also too though, if you're gonna make a video, they know what time is ready for you. So you might be trying to force yourself to make a video right now and be confident and all that. It still doesn't mean to me time. You can even try to do as many rituals and all that, but it's still not gonna be your time. This makes sense. Even with dating and marriage, you might have want to be married at 30, 29, 34, 30, all that, and it might not be your time to be like 48 or even 65. It's just, that's how it is, and you might just meet a whole bunch of negative people. But they know that, and I'm using relationships because that's how it is with tarot. They know. Your guys already knew that you're gonna click on this channel. Straight up, whether you watch me for like the remainder of these next couple years or just for today, they just know. They even know if y'all not gonna follow me or all that. They know. They know. You can't argue, but it's not just you making the conscious decision that I want to listen to this day. They know. They know. So yeah, to answer your question, yes, they do. And they even know when you're gonna decide not to watch stuff like this no more. They're gonna know when you're gonna give up on things. Yeah, they're just waiting. All right. Now I will say this, even when I'm saying that they know, again, any path you go is gonna happen anyway. So like, if you decide right now, this moment, you never done anything bad, but you decided to do something bad, they're hoping that you don't do something bad, because most likely you won't. But they know there's probably like a 5% chance that you are, and you're gonna do it, and that's gonna happen anyway. because they gotta let you do it because they know within the next couple months or even 2 years from now you're gonna change. But you don't know that. Like, you kind of feel you're gonna change. You might have an addiction. You feel like you're gonna change. And you don't know the time, and you're like, man, I want to change now. I hope I want to change now. But they know you're gonna change in 3 years. So what they're gonna tell you is when you ask the tarot card, they're gonna tell you to be patient. Be patient. Or if you struggle in relationships, like, man, I want to do it now. The tarot reading said, oh, I'm gonna get love. And it is going to happen, but they're also test you, are you going to be patient? Do you trust that, though? Like, so what happens is this how it works, too, with manifestations. If somebody tells you 2 years, right, that you supposed to, like, move somewhere, get married, whatever, right? It can happen, but what happens is this. You might have been told that before, and then now you doubting anybody. Not just tarot. You can be doubting pastors. You can doubt your mama, your dad, all that. Now, because you have that doubt, it's going to be a very slight chance that it's going to manifest because you don't trust the spirit world. It's not just doubt that you don't trust where that information is coming from, whether it be me, the teacher, your mama, or anybody. You don't trust it. You hoping that you trust it, but subconsciously, internally, you don't trust it. So guess what? You blocked yourself. It's your own fault. So yes, you might met a lot of karmics before, but you don't know your future. You're making assumptions that you're lost. You could be 68 years old right now. You're making an assumption that it's done. Nothing's done. Nothing's set in stone. Everything's a potential. Tarot is a potential. A lot of people, I don't know how many tarot might say that, but it's a potential, guys. It's a potential. But I will say this, even though it's a potential, it's a high potential. How I look at tarot, I look at like an 80% chance, 85% chance, and 20% it's going to shift. Only because we have free will. Straight. And that's also anything. Even if you pray for something, it's at 80, to me, I look, it's like an 85% chance that you pray something's going to happen now at this moment. It's going to take some time. Because nothing, it's very rare that things going to happen that fast. Sometimes things do happen that fast because it was meant for you. When it's like that, that means you're in flow. If things coming to you quickly, that means you're definitely in flow. You're definitely aligned with the universe and everything's coming. Like right now, I know I'm manifesting things faster than ever because I'm in flow. And the reason why I'm in flow because I'm trusting, I'm not doubting. I let go and I let be and I be present. I don't think too much of my future. I don't think too much of my past. I don't think about anybody in my past and no exes. I don't think about no friends. I don't think about what my family's going through and none of that. Like, I don't let my family problems bring me down either. Like, if say for example, say my mom, my dad's going to do something, I don't let it get me down. Because what happens if I do that, it's going to affect me. That's not my problem. Meaning, I love them, I will help them, but the day I let their problem become my problem, I actually hold my life back, right? And then I put all my energy into them, and then I neglect myself. So we have to find balance here. It doesn't mean I don't help my family, but I have to find balance. Because I'm a person, you can keep helping your family, your friends, and everything. And you can give your whole life away. And then when they pass away at 90 or 100 years old, you're going to wake up one day and you're going to be like 60, 65 years old. And you're going to be like, man, I ain't doing anything with myself. Now, am I too old to date? You know what I'm saying? You're going to start feeling down. Right? And so, again, but you agreed to do that because you allowed yourself to do that. And so now you attracted pain. Like attracts like. You attracted regret and scorn. And then one thing you don't want to do is you don't want to pass away leaving earth with regret or scorn, because that can also keep you bound here in a lower vibration or lower state. And then when you do your life, you're going to see how much time you could have helped yourself or loved yourself sometimes. Yeah, you just got to make sure you don't do it in a vanity way. You know, again, because we have to fight these vices too. So, yeah, man, again, spirits do know, see these videos, definitely. And just like right now, tarot and certain things are kind of popular, but I already know that eventually, from my personal perspective, this is going to sound crazy. I feel like the world, it's going to be more spiritual awakening, yes. But the state of the world with possible wars happening, stuff like that, and civil uprisings, I feel like it's not going to be probably as popular as now because I feel like it's overly saturated, and I feel like some people are just trying to monetize and just making random topics about any crazy topic, about anything, not just tarot, even life coaches, motivational speakers. They're almost doing what scientists do, or even presidents, like where they kind of get too much in their ego, man. That's the only thing that saddens me about the spiritual community. Some people, it's just like, dang. You know, and they're attracting their energy. And the only thing I don't like about it, as much love as we can be, is throwing the world and environment off a little bit. And some people, the sad thing is some people don't realize they're doing it. So again, that's still all about like attracts like. And again, just to answer your question, the spirits do see these videos. And they do know who's going to watch them. and who's meant to be. Now I will tell you this though. Even if you try to dodge a video and you be like, oh, I don't want to watch that video, it was still meant for you to come across that person. Doesn't mean you go back and watch them, but it's still meant for you to come across them, because you might have come across channels that they can be about history or anything, and you try to deny it, but then something in your soul like 3 days later makes you want to come back to that person. It was definitely meant for you to come back. Yeah. Because I give you an example, like when I was in the military, right? I was like doing corpsman stuff, like which is medical, and it got to a point where I didn't want to do it no more. I wanted to switch jobs. Like I still wanted to be in the Navy, but in the Navy you can switch jobs. You know, like I think like after 18 months, whatever. And I wanted to switch. So when I tried to switch, and I was doing like was like engineering, all that stuff, they still put me TAD, which was temporary duty, to work with corpsmen. So they still made me do medical. And then it was another time when I didn't want to do nothing with weapons, because I told myself I don't want to hurt nobody, I don't want to shoot nobody. The spirit still made me go get on a weapon like a year later. So it's like I did everything I didn't want to do. So it's almost like everything I try to dodge, the spirit realm allowed to happen and for me to go through it all again. So I'll give you an example. I had to face weapons and deal with weapons because on one of my lives, well, one or two of my lives, I had got shot at. I had not in a good way. And so I had to deal with my fear of guns and weapons, right? So I faced that fear. I healed that. I had to heal that. They wanted me going medical because not only am I supposed to heal people through my voice or even doing stuff like I'm doing now, tarot, they want me to actually physically put my hands on people and heal people. And like, you know, cast people up, put casts on them. And so because they told me my hands were healing. But at that time when I was young, 23, 22, I didn't know. And see, I'm getting at, but see, the spirit world knew that. So they drew me to a job. Like, I was going to go to the Coast Guard. And I'm not even a big fan of water. My dad was in the Army and I was in college. But they wanted me on water because guess what? I'm a water sign. Water does me well. It eases my mind. It gives me peace because they know there'll be a chance that I'll be prone to have anxiety. And one thing I will say about being on that ship in the Navy, it kept me calm, even though all that war and crazy stuff. Because I was out there when Kim Jong was shooting missiles out in Japan. Like, we was ready to light them up. We had 75 Tomahawks ready to go. That's another story for us another time. We were doing all kind of stuff. I was in Iran, all that. But the water always kept me calm. And I had a lot of premonitions and visions. I felt like a lot of mother energy there. A lot. And to this day, even though I'm in this home here in Texas, my guides, they still want me. They want me in nature, but they definitely want me for the next place I live in, they want me near water. It doesn't matter, like a lake or anything, but more so an ocean. They want me near water. I have to. Even if I go to Europe or anything, they want me near the water. And I noticed in a lot of my life, when we're talking about like attracts like, I was in Italy, we were surrounded by water. When I was in Germany, in Berlin, I was still near like a little lake that had like water. I was near water. Everywhere I was at water. And I was always on the west side. Like when I was in Berlin, I lived on the west side of Berlin before the wall came down in the 80s. I was born in 84. I was there, right? Here in Texas, when I was living with my mom, when I was a little kid, a child, we lived on the west side of town. Everywhere I lived on the west. Then when I went to San Diego, I lived on the west side of America, and I realized the west is good for me. This makes sense. That's why I had my Kundalini awakening in west in California, right? And then the only time I went east was in Japan, and then even then I lived in the west part of the city. So long story short, I'm just telling you, everything is always divinely guided, even when you don't think so. Like, I used to always wonder, right, why am I meeting women, right? They are very much in their masculine energy. And I'm not saying it's bad, but I'm talking about like overly masculine, where, you know, I can tell they might have had time where they had to step up in their old relationships with other men and they bring that energy to me. But not knowing I'm very emotional, very very empathic to their needs and all that. So they judge me off of face value. And so they already have all these big walls up, which is understandable. But they kind of bring their past. But what they don't know is they brought to me so I can show them that, hey, there are men out here that are nice. You can't have a guy that's a friend who doesn't want to like sleep with you. And this makes sense. So I indirectly showed them without me even telling them that. I didn't tell them that. I just knew it in my mind, and then I'm healing them. So like, what happens is a lot of women I meet that end up becoming my friends, they end up venting to me about their stuff, and not in a toxic way, because I still set boundaries. Because I also tell them, hey man, I can't always hear all the things you say, because again, it is draining. I actually tell them verbally it's draining, you know. And I have some female friends that are not on some negative stuff or are too depressed, where they just happy-go-lucky. So I get women from all kind of places, and I got guys who are my friends as well. But definitely in my relationship, for the most relations I've had good relationships with girls that I've dated. And to this day, a lot of the girls I've dated, especially my last two girls I've dated, we're friends. We don't do anything after that. We're just cordial. Again, they're doing their thing now. So, but I'm just telling you though, I attract this because I'm a healed. I've gotten to a certain healing in my mind, in my life. Again, I always got more healing to do, but I'm at a certain point where I'm pretty much almost at my peak where I'm getting great people, and I feel like you guys could do the same thing, and that's how like attracts like. Because my past two girlfriends were indirectly, and I never dated an Asian girl before ever. My last girl, it was like my fiance. She was Thai, and before her, I dated it was a Vietnamese and a Japanese girl, right? And before that was everyone was American, and I've always dated women for who are different cultures, and also I've dated girls my culture. But it's just like what I draw. It's not like I go out there and chase. It's like I happen to be in an environment, and this is what I saw. I'm a person like if you catch my eye, I'm talking to you straight up. That's it. I don't really can say I look for this, and I just follow whatever my heart feels about the person. Of course I have to have some type of physical attraction, but that's how it is, man. And again, that's still about like attracts like, because even though I just told you I kind of have a certain mindset of what I like in life, whether it be with women I date or anything or what I want to travel to, it's like your soul and your guys already know, guys. So if you mess up, don't feel bad. That's the thing I know for people. Love, they have a lot of love issues and it falls through. Because a lot of my clients, like that's all they talk about, and they almost want to give up on themselves or give up on love. And again, continue to self-love yourself again, because eventually you will get that love. And if you don't want to have love, okay, that's fine. You don't need to have love. But I would say this, even with somebody thinking to themselves they don't need love no more from somebody else, that's fine. But don't never give up. Don't ever think that it won't come though. Because I'm a person, like a lot of times I got in relationships when I wasn't even trying to look for one. I wasn't even trying to have one, but it was meant because I was supposed to learn something out of it. So I guess what I'm trying to say is don't feel so bad or bent out of shape whether you're not having the best of connection with family members, your parents, your brothers, your sisters, your cousins, or people you dated. It was all for a reason, okay? And again, I'm not saying that anybody deserves to get their hands put on, like punched or assaulted or cut up. Nobody deserves that. But at the end of the day, it's hard. I'm not gonna lie, it's hard for me to say this. Things happen for a reason. I'm telling y'all from my personal experience, from somebody who's been assaulted. Okay, I'm 19. All right, I'm a straight male. It's not a cool, right? So at the end of the day, and I was in college, so at the end of the day, I've been through a lot of stuff. Somebody who had people guns on me, a lot of stuff, man. When I mind my business, going to the store, when I'm in the military, and this is stuff before the military actually. Again, just me being a Christian guy. And again, it's not because you got karma because you're doing tarot. No, this is when I was a Christian, bro. And so that's why I bring up a lot of my pain stories of how certain good and bad things attracted to me. And I keep pushing religion because I'm tired of, like, I can't make people stop. I don't like when people, like, use certain belief systems to make other people feel bad because they're not in that belief system. When they themselves don't really know the end game. They're making an assumption. And so, yes, there's a lot of textbooks and whether we believe in the Bible and all that talk about things that have manifested, yes. But at the end of the day, we still here. I know for a fact there's people who said the end of the world was going to happen 200 years ago, and it didn't happen. There's people who oppress women, but guess what? Now they're free, though. There's people who oppress different cultures, and they're free. They probably thought that these people were going to be oppressed forever. They're just making assumptions. And I would highly suggest people stop agreeing to all these assumptions, because I'm a person, if you keep saying that stuff is going to end, because even God itself in the Bible said that nobody knows the time, not even the angels. So what makes you think you're going to know the time? You can break the scriptures down as much as possible. Doesn't mean anything. You're making an assumption, and then you're bringing fear into people's hearts, which is going to draw negative spirits to these people, and they're going to have nightmares. And they might end up dying early for stress. It doesn't make any sense. Because when I look at it, like, I'll give you an example. This now I pretty much answered all these questions. I'm gonna end this video in like 5 or 6 minutes. I want to say this: when you look at a lot of the gods and stuff, right? Certain gods in certain cultures, they had horns, and in certain Christians, they turned these things and made it to like devils. They must call all the pagan deities devils. It's symbolism. So I give you an example. Okay, Isis has the horns, but she doesn't have horns. It's fertility. It's the cow, right? Look, Moses, if you see some of his paintings, Moses has horns. He's even blowing out on the horn, the ram's horn. That's the age of Aries. Then they were worshiping the bull, whether y'all want to call it Moloch or whoever, or Baal. It's Taurus, fertility. So what I see, every age is under a zodiac sign for almost 2,000 some years, whatever it is. I can't remember the exact time. And they're abiding by that. Right now we're in Aquarius. Think about what Aquarius holds. Just really use your mind. It's technology, okay? It's communication. It's humanity, right? It's thinking outside the box. A lot of times too, sadly to say, I'm not gonna say this for all Aquariuses, but again, Aquarius energy is hard to get into that heart space. They're humanitarians, but they're also airy, and they're much in their head. They almost overthink. So now you got Bill Gates with the technology. Everybody feels like they're not loving anymore. They're seeming cold right now. You know why? It's air. It's air. What do you expect from air? You can't grab on the air. If you was a traveler, grab it, you can feel it. It's air. Aquarius gonna be running stuff, and what happens is the people who are living in Pisces, especially the people who are born in like before the 70s. I'm not gonna say all, but like people born in the 60s and before. It doesn't mean that y'all not open-minded, but a lot of the generation before is very closed-minded. No disrespect if anybody out there was born before 1960. They're closed-minded, and they're still more in that Pisces mindset, which is very heavily religious. Very heavily religious. And so when they see all this new age stuff, it scares the heck out of them, and they're just shunning it. But what's going to happen is like, it's like, I look at like Aquarius like a god. Not that I believe a god, that it's a god. I'm just using it as a god form, because you got to look at it how the Greeks, how the Egyptians look at it. Like those ages are almost like aspects of God. So like Pisces was very religious, but also kind of controlling, very empathic, very sensitive. Jesus was very loving and very kind because it was Pisces. You understand? Now people are looking for a savior, but it's all air energy. But guess what? Aquarius is the water bearer. He's giving out knowledge. Does this make sense? And also you have this mother energy that's trying to rise up and with people because she's tired of being oppressed, the omnipresent aspect, the feminine aspect of God. Does this make sense? And so we're going through this awakening. So now we have all these gender wars and all this torment and all this crazy stuff going on. But it's Aquarius, it's time for change. And it's going to keep going. It's not the end. It's not the end. And so it's sad though, but we have to find some balance, man, because we need to stop this, because what's going to happen is going to keep attracting more negative energy than positive. And it's going to almost outweigh the spiritual people that are awakening. Because I definitely feel like this is not going to just happen in my lifetime or your lifetime, because I remember I had this vision that where there is a time where, I don't know the time of it, but it's like at least over 1,000 years from now, where everybody was like half robot, half like human, like literally hooked themselves to the body, like the bodies of robots. And it was horrible, and there was a lot of war going on. Then there was another time where I saw in the future where the sun was closer to Earth a little bit. Everything was more desert-like. A lot of the trees were burnt down and all that. But the good thing is everybody was able to talk to each other telepathically, and everybody looked the same because everybody kept intermixing races and stuff. But it was really crazy, because by the time people came together, the world was almost destroyed, and that was in the future after the time of technology. But yeah, the sun was definitely high vibrational, was right there. And that, for me, not that I'm trying to make y'all believe that vision, that premonition, but for me to see that, it just gave me hope inside that, yeah, this ain't the end. So everything that these people are talking about, they're out their mind, because I'm a person that like, there's always going to be aspects of whatever you believe in, Jesus or Buddha or whatever. It's going to be an aspect of energy, of love, always on this earth, no matter how dark it gets. So people are not going to ever assume it's going to be the end. But I will always tell people, man, to be open-minded, because you really don't know, guys. You really don't know. Because there might be one day you wake up, like the belief system we have, whether it be Islam, Christianity, or even paganism, where it's just going to look like another mythology in the future. You don't know. You're making assumptions, and I realize that's a hard pill to swallow, and a lot of people, I hope they don't argue with me with that in the comment section. I'm not here to try to change your belief system. It's not me denying the God source. I'm just telling you a lot of this stuff was men trying to say what they felt was in their mind to write on paper. And this is another thing. How do you know that the God source won't speak to a person like you or me to write something, or our children write something? Because we keep being stuck on these old prophets, not knowing if they were evil or good. And now, to me, I feel like we're more advanced. We might not be as wise as them, and that's because they had more peace. They had more time to think. They weren't distracted by television. But any of us can do the same thing if we would just get off the television sometime, you know? And I feel like humanity, a lot of people, humanities, especially people who are over religious, nothing against religion, but overly religious, you know, almost to the extreme. They're almost scared to accept that, hey, maybe there could be something new, a new person, a new prophet to come on, new energy, something to bring to the table to make this life better. Instead of me keep looking at the past can hold you back. You can learn a lot from the past. It can hold you back depending on who you're trying to read from. I tell people, man, you really don't know. You don't know. You're assuming. And then the stuff that we read, you don't know if they're altered and all that, unless you go to the country and see it on the walls yourself. And that's the best gift I ever got out of the Navy. And also me growing up as a kid, I got to travel around the world and see stuff, and I know what I saw. Like when I went to Iraq, I was nervous. I thought I was gonna get blown up. I thought the people were gonna hate me. Man, they love me. Like I blended in. Everybody thought I was Arabic, and this is before I didn't have this many tattoos, but I did have tattoos, but I didn't have the hand ones. And I was out there. They were like loving me, man. I was like one of the most peaceful places. I even had an Arabic girlfriend. And when I tell people that she had a sheet on her head, nobody believes me, but it's the truth. But if I would have just stuck on the news, I'd probably been having a lot of anxiety and panic attacks. If I would just stuck with it and believed everything I saw on the news. I even got Russian friends right now. No, nobody's judging me like that. You know, it's like, no. Like, that's why I say, I would tell any of you guys, experience these things. Because, again, when I went to Iraq and when I went to Japan and out here now, I got Russian friends. Like, my energy drew this, guys, indirectly. I didn't forcefully go out and try to find these. I just was out there just trying to have fun. And I would tell you guys to do the same thing, right? Don't give up on life. And lastly, I'm going to leave y'all with this. I'm kind of getting off subject now. I'm going to leave y'all with this. All right, this doesn't. And I'm about to tell you this doesn't mean continue an addiction. Okay, this doesn't mean to stay in a depressed state or an anxiety state. But I want to tell you this in hopes that you don't give up on hope. When I was in college, right, I was studying kinesiology. I had a teacher. He told the classroom a true story from what it seemed to be a true story. He said there was a young man. He was like 29 years old. He would run every day, work out every day. He was a vegan, ate healthy every day. He did this for years. He was always running since he was in high school. 29 years old, he was young. Then he hit 30, still running, in shape. And he had another friend he knew that smoked every day, smoked a cigarette. And he would tell him, he said, hey, you know, you need to stop smoking, man. You might get cancer. You might have this. And his friend's like, yeah, I know. Okay. And so his friend was still smoking. Well, one day, the guy was running, and he got hit by a car, and he passed away. And then his friend who smoked, he lived until he was like in his 80s and 90s, and he died off natural causes. And I'm only bringing this up because you don't know your fate. You don't know. It doesn't mean that you should smoke, but you don't know what's in store. That's what's wild about life. You don't know. You don't know at all. You're making assumptions. So you have to trust. And what I've learned in life, the more you trust and have faith, even with the things you don't know, it actually helps beautiful things manifest when you trust. It really does. And don't live in fear. And feel like, oh man, I ate a piece of meat. Oh my God, my life's going to be shortened. No. Just like with intuition. Everybody thinks that, oh, you got to be a vegan to have heightened intuition. Yes, it will help. Yeah. But at the end of the day, I'm 9 years old. I'm 12 years old. Why am I having visions? Why am I seeing ghosts and I'm eating sugar and candy? There's kids to this day eating gummy bears at 16, having visions. But then there's people eating vegan food, eating vegetables, haven't had a vision or seen a ghost yet. Make it make sense, people. We can't just be in a world of delusion. It was probably a gift that it was already natural from their bloodline or from the past life. It was just meant to be. And there's people trying to crack off this gift all day and it never happens. See what I'm saying? You don't know. You don't know. So again, and even to this day, I've eaten meat from time to time and it doesn't do anything. Like I still got my visions and stuff. It doesn't matter. So I only had to say that because I feel like there might be some people out there trying to diet or they feel like they gotta eat high vibrational food. Yes. And I will say this. Now, even though I'm saying eat meat, I would definitely say stay away from processed food. Yes, stay away from processed food and processed sugar. And if you were to eat meat, try to eat meat that has less antibiotics or any negative chemicals in the food, in the meat itself. Because I know where I live at, we have meat that doesn't have all those stuff in it that's affecting the body. Right? Because what they feed the animals. That's the good thing about living in Texas. They kind of like, we're off the grid, kind of like, meaning like we're on the grid, but we kind of do our own thing. We used to be our own country, so I love it here. So, yeah, I will tell anybody about that. I had to say that just because like there's so much misinformation here. Because yes, eating vegetables, all that, yeah, it can keep mucus out your body and all that. But at the end of the day, you kind of need iron and certain things in your body because you gotta understand too your blood type. All right, so I give you an example. O blood type. A lot of times, O blood type, your ancestry was like hunter-gatherer, so most likely to eat meat. So technically, you're holding the karma of people who eat meat. You can't just stop eating meat. You might, from what I saw, you need to eat chicken, you need certain stuff. Now, for example, if you're a B blood type, it's okay for you not to eat like chicken, things like that. You need more vegetables and maybe from time to time beef sometimes. That's it, okay? but you'll still live a healthy life. Because what happens is, if certain blood types go without certain foods, they actually affect their health more than what they think. So look into your blood type, and also every blood type carries certain spiritual gifts as well. Okay. Oh, I do know it's one of the oldest blood types. Okay. So again, I just had to put that out there. I think I pretty much touched on all the topics. Sorry, I kind of got a little bit on me, but I had to show some experiences with myself to give y'all a visual. I don't really have any like books to talk about to give y'all on this video per se. I do have books that I read, but I know how people are, and I don't really want to have problems in the comment section because some people might not agree with certain authors or certain things, and you know, and that's crazy. That's why I feel like, again, when we're reading books, you're going off people's assumptions and what they perceive, okay? Again, especially when it's about spirituality, okay? Now, it's one thing if you're studying math or science, yes, books are great. But when you're talking about history and spirituality, a lot of there's truth in that, but then all of a sudden, you're also looking at it from their perspective and also assumptions of what they think they saw, what they happening. So it's technically a story being told, like how you tell stories, and it's written down. And this is the problem I see with humans. They have an issue with trusting what they see or hear. People have a trust issue with dating. They have a trust issue with their family. And so how can we ever have any kind of peace or happiness if you're always going to doubt? And that's the biggest problem, is doubt, which brings in fear, and people living in delusions, and also staying in relationships too long, all kind of stuff. And so when it comes to history and spirituality, there's going to be a point in this generation that I'm talking to going forward, and the generation after me, they're going to have to learn to trust somebody. Whether it be your family, the people on TV, you're going to have to trust somebody. You're going to have to. At the end of the day, other than trust yourself, you have to, because there's no movement if we keep just trusting just every piece of history in the past. And yes, it's gotten as far to a certain extent, but only so far. We can still do more. And so that's my last thing I want to tell people out there. So again, man, that's how it is. And I think I stated this before. When you watch a reading, or even if you're in church and you hear a pastor giving a sermon, or you're in school and the teacher's teaching something, if it doesn't resonate, don't take it. But a lot of times, sometimes things don't resonate because probably your vibration is not on the same octave or heightened level as them, or either your vibration is higher than them and it's not, and they're lower than you, or either y'all are both on the same vibrations and that message is just not for you, right? Or either your ego just does not want to hear that because you just don't want to hear the truth. And most of the time, from what I've seen, it's just that you don't want to hear the truth of what they got to say. Especially when it's about like something being taught about history or an experience. I'm not talking about tarot on this one, because tarot, again, it's a potential. So again, you don't have to read that one. It's talking about an experience. You can't really say what another person said or seen unless you're in their shoes. So that's how I look at history. We're going off assumptions. Like, I'll give you an example. Sparta was a great group of soldiers, right? And we hear all these stories, but we don't really know how great they were. We only know bits and pieces. I'm telling y'all bits and pieces of my story about, things of this, and I'm telling y'all about these questions that this young person asked me on my comment section, and we don't know what they're going through. But at the end of the day, I just try to give as much information as much as possible to get people's minds to waken up, to think a little bit more than the usual, and try not to prejudge people or prejudge what people have been through unless you've been through it. And try not to be so down in your life. That's my whole thing. Is I'm here to inspire and uplift. Because even in my readings, I want to say this. When I do my readings, I have so many messages to give y'all. But one thing, if y'all notice, that even in the most negative reading, if it's about people gossiping or negativity, it's like my spirits won't let me leave off that reading without leaving y'all with an inspirational comment. They won't let me do that. And when we're talking about like attracts like, when I was in Japan, I ended up buying a Honda, a Japanese Honda, and it looked like an Accord, and it said Inspired. So this Honda was called the Honda Inspired, and I was like, what? INSPIR, Inspired. And something in the spirit told me that's what you're gonna be doing in your future. See what I'm saying? Like attracts like. I didn't know that, and that's when I was still in the military, right? And I even joined the service while I was able to get tattoos. All these tattoos you see, I had this in the service everywhere I went. It's like the source knew what I wanted to do. Even though people in church and my family didn't want certain things for me to have, I still did it, and they still love me. I just had to be patient for them to change their mindset. And I feel like you can do the same thing no matter where you are. So I would tell y'all this, man. Stay positive. And I wish y'all love and blessings everywhere. I hope y'all like the video. I kind of got my little sermon mode. In the last 15 minutes, I wasn't trying to go on this little tangent here. I wasn't trying to do that. I don't know how I end up on these other topics these last 15 minutes of the video. But if you stuck in this long video, thank y'all. And thank y'all for your support. And blessed be.